You've probably already seen a lot of videos about the DJI Pocket 3, and you're probably wondering, is this a camera for me? Well, this video won't hopefully be like all those other videos. I will try to illustrate how big of an impact this camera might have on the way of creating content. So, I don't care too much about specs. Being an Apple user, I know that specs don't always say the whole story about a product. There is so much more like usability, implementation and ergonomics that are often overlooked when reviewers look at a product or a camera. But there are a few specs on this camera that can highlight what makes this setup truly game-changing. And you know me, I don't like to use those words.
One thing I really love about DJI and what they're doing is that they're really delivering on their firmware and the firmware update. So just a couple of days ago, there was some firmware coming to the DJI Action 4, which was great. Basically, you can now use the DJI Mic 2 wirelessly directly with the DJI Action 4, which is crazy. So DJI is giving us features that nobody else would even think of, and they're doing that on a daily basis.
The sensor size sweet spot. The sensor size is important. Very, very important. It's possibly the biggest contributor to the great imagery that the setup provides you. And I believe that DJI have found the sweet spot. Making the sensor smaller limits your image quality, of course. Making it bigger, and you will need to have a bigger lens, a bigger battery, which will result in a much bigger setup. The size of the Pocket 3 is at a place where if you make it just a little bit bigger, it will be a chore to easily bring it with you on trips or whatever you want to use it in. So of course, one of the things with the Pocket is gonna be the size, and that's why I believe that this sensor size is probably the best when it comes to the size, because as you can see here, I'm fitting it in my pocket. Of course, it looks like I'm really happy to meet you, but yeah, it fits in your pocket, of course. Don't forget that this product actually competes with the fantastic video machine, the iPhone 15 Pro and Pro Max. So any bigger in size and you might just use your iPhone instead.
So since I got the Pocket 3, I was searching for a good tripod to have with me, and I did put together my own version of a selfie stick where I used the normal selfie stick, where I put it together with the smallest tripod that I own. And this setup was actually working kind of great until I found this. And this is the MT44 from Ulanzi, which actually has worked very good the few times that I've used it. But the best thing with this tripod or selfie stick or whatever you want to call it is the small size. This makes it so much easier to actually bring your setup. So instead of this setup, you do have this. Now this doesn't get as tall, but for me, I'm not the tallest person in the world, but the setup together with the Pocket 3 is perfectly adequate for bringing it with you. So here you can see me extending the selfie stick as much as I can, and it's basically 160 centimeters tall. So when I put the Pocket 3 on, you can actually see that it's beyond eye level, at least for me, and I'm 168 in length, centimeters of course. So yeah, really a recommendation from me.
We all know that audio is important, and the DJI Pocket 3 is a master at audio.
So if you're anything like me, you've been fangirling pretty hard over the...
So we got a couple of new features. So guys, right now you're actually listening to the sound straight from the DJI Pocket 3.
And right now you're also listening to the 32-bit float coming out from the DJI mic that is recorded. So most of the time I actually love to use something like a lav mic when using these types of microphones, and that's because I don't love the look when having a microphone that's that visible. So I love to use something like this. This is just a normal cheap lav mic that I can use whenever I want to, but the sound right now is coming out from this. I could of course also connect the lav mic.
How the lav mic sounds. So right now you're listening to the lav mic straight into the DJI Mic 2 that goes straight to the Pocket 3. The audio from the built-in microphone is class leading. I would challenge any camera maker to compare their built-in audio to the audio coming out from this small camera. It is as good as you can expect from a camera of this size. It doesn't, however, stop with that. The DJI Mic 2 that comes bundled with the Creator Combo is very versatile. It connects automatically to your Pocket 3 and also records in 32-bit float internally at the same time. So if you screw up your audio levels, the DJI Mic 2 has you covered. But it doesn't stop there. With a late November 2023 update, DJI also gave us the ability to record the audio from the internal mics at the same time as recording the audio from the DJI Mic 2. This means that you can both have the intimate recording of yourself at the same time that you have the recording of your surroundings. Tell me another camera that does this.
So the DJI Mic 2 also has a couple of other features up its sleeve. Number one, you can actually connect this to your iPhone, which is crazy. So if you want really great audio when you're filming with your iPhone, you can connect it directly to your iPhone without having the receiver with you. So that's a great feature. Another great feature is that you can actually use the connection button to actually start and stop your recording when you have your device connected to either the Pocket 3 or the Action 4.
Sure, it has a gimbal, and that's probably the heart and soul of the setup. I love that it has a gimbal. Or let me rephrase, I love that this is a setup that has a gimbal incorporated. But maybe not for the reason you might think. I do not care about having the most flowing imagery when I'm vlogging or walking with the camera. I actually like to have some shake when I'm walking, because it shows that you're actually walking when you're recording. For me, the greatness of the setup, having a built-in gimbal, is more the tracking abilities that this gimbal has. And that's actually brought to this setup from the drones that DJI make. And it tracks so well. When having the tracking activated, the gimbal follows almost every move you make. This is like having a cameraman following you. Also, you never have to think about the setup being leveled or straight. The gimbal fixes everything for you.
So one thing that I really would recommend is that if you're looking at getting the Pocket 3, you should go with the Creator Combo. Because with the Creator Combo, you get a few things that I would say are really cool. You get this ultra wide angle lens. I think it's something around 16 millimeters, which is really cool. Another thing that you get with the Creator Combo is that you get this pouch, and this is also great because storing it in a good place is so important. You also get an extra battery, which is really great as well, even though I think that the Pocket 3 itself has great battery life. But maybe the most important thing when getting the Creator Combo is the DJI Mic 2. It is such a great tool. If I would only get the DJI Mic 2, I would probably go with the Creator Combo still. Now in the Creator Combo you probably get like a small tripod and stuff like that, but the DJI Mic 2 itself pays for the whole setup. When it comes to other accessories, I would definitely recommend having something like this, a small tripod or selfie stick or whatever you want to call it, that's easy to carry with you. Also, another thing to think about is of course going to be the memory card that you can use. Now I know that the Pocket 3 supports up to 512 gigabytes of memory card, so this is a cool memory card from Angelbird, which I would definitely recommend. So those are probably the few things that I would recommend getting with the Pocket 3.
I've used the word setup a couple of times, and that is what the DJI Pocket 3 is. It's a whole production team in your pocket. You just start it and it does the rest. You can move, you can scream, you can create, and the Pocket 3 will be there to record every movement. This is as close to having a camera robot man with you as you can have. People think this is just a small camera on a gimbal, but they are so wrong. It's so much more. It's like having your own cameraman with you at any time. It's truly fantastic. The perfect combination of features is magic.